Hello and welcome to episode number 3 of the TEW WWE Challenge Run. This is SmackDown for week 2 of... Wait, what? Did I say 43? Did I say that? Whatever. This is going to be SmackDown for week 2 of August, as the road to the 2-night SummerSlam extravaganza continues. Without any further ado, let's just jump straight into the show. The Hoss House come out to open SmackDown. And after their last week, they were revealed to be the masterminds behind the running over of Daniel Bryan last month. Braun says he got Tucker to run over Daniel Bryan because he was tired of him running around like he owns the place. See, people like Daniel Bryan are not meant to be leaders here in WWE. It's men like us, men like the Hoss House. So with that little pipsqueak out of my way, he can run roughshod over this show. He being Braun, of course. Drew Gulak and Chad Gable come out and they say they don't admire the Hoss House. They admire people like Daniel Bryan, who prove that anyone can be the Universal Champion. And Braun laughs. He says, people like you, Drew Gulak, people like you, Gable, you'll never be Universal Champion. And that's when Gable's like, you see, if you really believe that, you can prove that and defend that title against me, right now, bitch. And we do get an impromptu Universal title match, which gets a 70. Braun Strowman defeats Chad Gable with a power slam in 14 minutes, 16 seconds. There would definitely be a nice false finish in here where we think Gable's got it. But in the end, Braun Strowman beats him and makes defense number 5 of the Universal title. 84 for Braun, 61 for Gable. And that's about it. But after the match, the Hoss House beat up, all 4 members of the Hoss House beat up Drew Gulak and Chad Gable, the 2 small wrestler men. And they give Gable a power slam through, well, Braun, not they. Braun gives Gable a power slam through the table and does a big roar as he holds his title up high that he's just defended against Chad Gable, and we fade to black for a commercial break. When we come back, we've got Gable being stretched into an ambulance backstage because he's being taken out after the power slam. And Gulak's with him. He's distraught that he let him down. He couldn't fight off Dabba-Kato, Ibukanu, and Tucker. That's when Early and Otis come to confront him, and they sort of help escort Gable to the ambulance as well. Ali says, the Hoss House can't get away with this. I've been trying to bring justice to them for months, and we all need to work together if we want to stop them. So, sort of a little army of enemies that the Hoss House are making here with these 4. And also Daniel Bryan, whether he is. 51. Pretty good match considering the ratings they both got. Shotzi Blackheart loses to Sonya Deville by submission when Lacey Evans comes out and attacks her because the Forgotten are still carrying on this thing with Rob Gronkowski's little group, his DX group. Shotzi gets a 34, Sonya gets a 51, and that's about it for that. Then after the match, out comes Nikki Cross, and she tells Sonya that Alexa accepts her challenge for the Fight Pit match at SummerSlam, but that it was a mistake, because this sexy Scottish teapot will have her fighting better than you've ever have fought. She'll have, once we see her in the Fight Pit, she'll have UFC calling her the day after to try and sign her up. Whereas Sonya, there's a reason why you're an MMA reject and not an MMA star. So low blow from Nikki Cross, but the main story is Alexa has accepted, much to maybe could be a way in over her head, but it will be on. She'll be stepping into the Fight Pit against Sonya Deville at SummerSlam. Here's a backstage segment. Shotzi, beaten and bruised after being beaten up by Sonya Deville, goes up to Rob Gronkowski and Mojo Rawley, and she's like, guys, Lacey Evans is still out there, the Forgotten are still after us. And Rob, you're hiding from James Storm. You need to tackle him head on, prove that you're not a coward, and prove that you really are here to mean business in WWE. And Gronk sort of has to just sit there and ponder about how his own stablemate has just called him out. And maybe there is a point to what James Storm was on about, because he has sort of avoided him after got screwed at Judgment Day. J-Flo went to the ring. They don't, but instead of performing music, they just take the microphones and they start shouting obnoxiously all around the arena. And then obviously we cut backstage and took guys in her locker room with Raquel Gonzalez, and all she can hear is the loud screams of J-Flo in the ring. And she gets annoyed, and she's like, Raquel, go to the ring and stop this ruckus now. I need to rest my leg so that I can kick Mackie's head off at SummerSlam. Raquel then goes to the ring, she shoves Mackie to the floor, and the other members of J-Flo get in her face. And she's like, well, come on then, bitches, I'll fight one of you one-on-one right now. And Marika is the one who steps forward. Raquel Gonzalez defeated Marika in 5 minutes with a big boot. Raquel gets a 40, Marika a 21. And yeah, so nice win for Raquel here on SmackDown. Renee Young hosts a sit-down interview with Sheamus. He talks about how when he was injured for 9 months, he was speculated to never be able to come back. But he knew he had to. He couldn't retire knowing he was never the Intercontinental Champion. He's held all the gold there is to hold. He's been WWE Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, United States Champion, Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Champion, King of the Ring winner, Royal Rumble winner, Mr. Money in the Bank, but never Intercontinental Champion. So to finally get his shot to win that title at the biggest party of the summer, against a man who helped him revitalise his career, will be the biggest match of his life, whether it seems like it or not. So he's ready to go for SummerSlam. He's fighting Cesaro, his friend, for the IC title. Firefly Funhouse starts, and the first shot is of Rambling Rabbit. He's torn in half on the floor, and all his fluff is laying around him as he's been laid out. He's been chewed up. Then we see Bray walk into frame, and he picks up Rambling Rabbit. He's like, yowie wowie, what's happened here? And then he looks around. He sees the box that Mercy the Buzzard is in, and he sort of knocks on it. And then he pops out, but like, he doesn't pop out like normally. He sort of like creeps his head up slowly as he starts shaking in fear. And he's like, Bray's like, why'd you do it, Mercy? He's like, it wasn't me, man. It was the new Super Dog. He's beating us all. Then Bray turns. He sees Leaky the Super Dog, who joined the Funhouse last week, of course. He's chewing on the arm of Huskus the Pig Boy. Bray shouts at him, and he goes to roll up a newspaper and smack him. But then the Vince puppet sticks his head through the door. He says, Bray better not hurt the Super Dog, or he's fired. And Bray's like, I'll try not to. But Leaky's hurt me enough already, so it'll only be self-defense at this point. But then he picks up the puppet of Leaky the Super Dog. He takes off the little Superman costume he's wearing, and then Leaky calms down, and he's just a regular puppy. He just sits there woofing, and he's no longer on the attack. And Bray laughs. He's like, see? The Super Dog without his super costume, he's just a regular old mutt. He tosses the Superman costume on the floor, and it lands next to where he's keeping Roman's little protective vest. And then he's like, and regular mutts are no match for him. And then Bray, he hurts Leaky the Super Dog, grabs his head with the hurt glove, and rips him in half, and his fluff goes flying all over the floor. And then he drops him on the floor, and then Bray laughs in his evil laugh, and then it transitions into the Fiends laughing. And then we cut to black.
Can't you see how your love's affecting our reality? Every time we're down, you can make it right, and that makes you larger than life. Can't you see how your love's affecting our reality? Every time we're down.
Random match 60, Morrison and Elias. Morrison beats him in 12:46, Starship Pain. 65 for Morrison, 63 for Elias. An emotional Sami Zayn comes to the ring. He apologises to the WWE Universe and asks them to let him speak. He knows he's been obnoxious these past few years, and honestly he doesn't regret it, because it helped him get to where he's at today. Shinsuke Nakamura was his best friend, and he was always skeptical to call him that because of his history with best friends. But he never envisioned a scenario where Nakamura did what he did at One Night Stand. And then Nakamura comes out and he's got Malcolm Bivens with him. Bivens starts to talk. He's like, I am Malcolm Bivens. I am the official English translator of Shinsuke Nakamura. And he'll relay Sami's message to Shinsuke. And Sami laughs. Like, we know Nakamura speaks perfectly fine English. He doesn't need a translator. So what is this little charade you're trying to pull here? What's going on? I don't want to know, Shinsuke. I don't care. I don't want you to apologise. I just wanted you to tell me why you did it. Shinsuke goes to speak. And then he sort of goes to speak, but then he puts the mic down. He goes to attack Sami. But Sami sees this coming. He catches Shinsuke's arm and he reverses Shinsuke and sends him packing out of the ring as he watches on from the ring as Nakamura and Bivens back up the ramp. 74, the Usos and the New Day go to a draw in 1635, following a double DQ when Lucha House Party run in. Death from Above run in and attack both men. 72 for both members of New Day, 65 for both Usos. That's nice and easy. But there's no resolution here. We do not know which team is going to SummerSlam. Final segment. Sasha and Bayley come out again to end the show. Sasha says that last week, Paige tried to do nothing but drive a wedge between her and her best friend Bayley. And it didn't work, as nothing can come between them. Now she sat at home, holding her poor little neck, the same way that she did when Sasha ensured she would never wrestle again. Then Paige pops up on the Titantron. She says she's not here tonight because she's just come back from her last trip to the doctor. Obviously, she knows that everyone is concerned for her neck, because she's had the history of the neck issues, and she had to retire. This is the first bump she's taken since then. So she's here to update everyone, especially Sasha and Bayley. Paige says the doctor said her neck was fine after Sasha did what she did last week. And then Paige is like, oh, you mean fine for someone but with my previous history of injuries to my neck? That's fine, yeah? So I can continue to go back to work. And they're like, no, Paige. Your neck is fine. And Bayley and Sasha look confused. But then Paige is actually here after all. She comes out from behind Sasha and Bayley. She kicks Sasha in the back. She lays Bayley out of a rampage. You want a challenger for SummerSlam, Paige says. Well, you're looking at her. This is sort of where we take the left turn here. And see, I don't think it really is thrown because Edge came back. And, like, I feel like Paige could come back for a match at any time. And I just felt I'd been building to it this moment enough that I've sort of thrown realism out of the way. Just it's now become full-on fantasy booking. But yeah, here we are. Paige is back, and she can wrestle again. And she wants to challenge Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title at SummerSlam. We get 79. Increase our pop in 10 regions. Again, I haven't sorted out the restricted thingies. I'll probably look into that in a minute because I'm now about to obviously end the show. But what matters more than what the game thought is what you thought of the show. So do let me know what you thought in the comments. And I'll see you next time for episode 44, which will be Monday Night Raw. See you then.